Hello and welcome to MoreZone, everything Call of Duty, Warzone and more. My name is Alan Bryce and I'll be bringing you through all the action we have for you this week on the show. And it is another great show for you. But first, let's find out a little taster of what's coming up this week. In Warzone news this week, we cover a wide range of topics covering everything Warzone. Top 5 clips of the week. Let's find out who our top 3 are. Loadout of the week, we jump on board with head coach of Toronto Ultra, it's Marky B. And this week, we are going to Hangars to find out about this location. Well, there we go. Another big show for you again this week. Lots to cover, lots to kind of fill you in on, and lots to show you. But if you are interested in following any of our socials, they are on the screen right now. Of course, Twitter, the MoreZone, and Reddit r/MoreZone. You can also submit your top 5 clips there, but we'll get to that later on. First of all, let's take you into the week of Warzone news. It's MoreZone news. This week in the news, we have the Plunder Pack, which is presented by Exhibit. Famous for Pimp My Ride, this time you can pimp your ride in-game with the black and gold skins for all vehicles. Also in the news, it's Season 4 time, and it has been everywhere on the socials recently. There are trailers, there are also custom Captain Price cameos coming to many key influencers which you may have seen. This season seems to be focused around an existential threat coming to Verdansk, and the operators having to go in to solve it. We will cover more as we know exactly what is coming. Unfortunately, due to recent events in America, Activision has chosen to delay the start of Season 4. It was supposed to start tomorrow. It has now been postponed. In terms of competitions this week, we have Vibe Warzone, a 128-team open tournament that has launched. This means everybody can play who wants to get in, not just influencers and streamers. That has actually been and gone. And the winner of that was Fever Kill and Gemini KF. Not the only competition this week though, the Fandom 10K has kicked off, a pro-am full of celebrities and streamers thrown together. You can see the recent standings here on your screen. It's every week, but it's not the only series. We are of course going to talk about the Doritos Disruptor series with TP. The TEEP trials have also started. That's Twitch Rivals, and that's the competitions for this week, and that is MoreZone news. Well, there you go. Lots of Warzone competitions this week. Seems like more and more keep appearing, and we'll try to keep on top of them and report to you every single time. If you do think we're missing anything, feel free to let us know, and we'll try to cover it in future episodes. But one of the biggest highlights of any MoreZone show has got to be the top 5. The top 5 now, which if you are from the European region and come in the top 3 clips submitted, you do get a chance to win 2,400 COD points every single week. So make sure you get those clips in. From now, we will be taking submissions. We want either a YouTube link or a Twitch clip and sent to one of our socials at Twitter, MoreZone, or on the Reddit MoreZone. And of course, you can see those on screen now as well. Make sure to get them in. But without any further delay, let's get into this week's top 5 clips. Coming in at number 5 this week, a game of Plunder where a player jumps straight back in and goes to work on a team, taking down 3 players straight away. Big kills, get that money. Coming in number 4, we have what looks like a fairly standard Growl going to work, but wait a minute, hit the 360 and the scope to finish it off, and that's a 3-piece in Verdansk. He was on the show last week, but this week the Queeve puts in some work, showing us in a 1v4 with his team all down. If he can continue to do the work, uses a cheeky C4 there to try and take that player down as well. Another C4, but no hits this time. Decides to go around the corner. Ends one, sees a second, takes that one down as well. But realizes that all the players aren't down because that player is still alive. Keeps looking for this last player, trying to get some ammo skipped out. And there we go, pops one out and does eventually get that team wipe. But this clip isn't just a team wipe. There is still a little shock in store for Dave as he comes around this corner and sees somebody just lurking in the shadows, but gets that final kill. At number 2, we have Brack OP, and This one gets a little bit chaotic as it continues on, but somehow comes away with the win. You can see some shaky shots going through the door. Teammate ends up going down, but this time he ends up getting pinched. Somehow comes away with it, eventually downs that player, knocks them out of the fight as well, and now runs away with no health. Desperately trying to stay alive here. Know they're being tailed, know the people are coming at them. Puts the clip in, throws the stun out through the door, trying to make sure that player comes through, but they've come behind them the door again and somehow turned and burned and shut down. Our number one clip this week, Riri29, and this is spectacular. I think this would probably be the number one clip most weeks if it continued to be submitted, but unfortunately you can only do it once. Unfortunately this week it wins. This is a ridiculous start. Going into Superstore now, using the UZ2 devastating effect, teammates all end up dropping out of this game and going to the gulag, but he continues to stay alive, racking up kill after kill. Already several players down. Going in for the reload. Sees more players inside, continues to do it. Another player, another down, continues running out of ammo, running out of clips, having to reload multiple times during this one. As already you can see there are 4 kills on the board, but more players continue to stream in. A 5th player going down. A 6th player is now down and eliminated. That's now 7 kills for Riri, and one final player walked through the door into this slaughterhouse in Superstore, and that is the number one clip of the week. Well, another great week of Warzone clips has been submitted, but make sure you submit yours. There is a chance to win every single week, 2,400 COD points. Just throw them into our social, give us a Twitch clip or a YouTube video, and just send it over. We can do the rest and put it in for you. And we'll be announcing the winners every week, Tuesday at 8 PM in the show. So those players will be getting their COD points very, very shortly. But from one set of clips to a great interview with a very good friend of mine from Toronto Ultra, their head coach, it's Marky B. All right. Hello, Marky. Thank you very much for joining us here on MoreZone. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How about you, Bryce?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Feeling the lockdown hair at the moment. But let's move on to that. Let's talk a little bit about your loadout going into Warzone. Now, I can see right now you're running an overkill class, the M4 and the MP5, both very much competitive guns at the moment. But why do you fancy running these? What's your kind of angle on it?
I mean, right now, if you're looking at the sort of AR part of the class, you're like kind of as a choice, you're either going with the Grau or the Graw or the M4. And
Yeah.
I think for me, I ran a bit of both, but I felt like the M4 for me just felt more rewarding with kills, and I felt like I could just sort of do more with it. Like obviously, you can beam people with the Grau and like take those long range engagements are sort of easier, but I just like I said, more rewarding with M4. Just enjoy the sort of way it feels, and I think that part of that is obviously it's the sort of main AR and competitive too, which I dabble in also, obviously. And then going through the rest of the class, MP5. The main sort of like question for me here with MP5, apart from sort of using all the sort of standard attachments, was just the question between the 10mm or the 45 round. I think the 10mm for me, I was having a lot of situations in the game where I would consistently be getting like running out of bullets in the wrong situations. And I even used to, before I ran the MP5, run the MP7, and I felt like I was actually winning a lot of those fights a lot of the time. Whereas I felt like with it just consistently running out of bullets in the wrong situations was completely screwing me over. But since I ran into the 45 round, I've just been consistently just, like I said, picking up those easy wins when it's that medium to short range.
All right, that's fairly normal. You know, you've run a lot of competitive classes, but here's some questions about some sort of things I've seen actually in your class. First of all, the no sights on the M4, right? We see a lot of people doing that, but you know, obviously you're a kind of a different breed of player with that competitive background. Can you explain to more casual players maybe why dropping the red dot on is a good thing?
Yeah, for me, I feel like the accuracy with the iron sight on this game is perfectly viable. I think in previous Call of Duties and competitive players would choose that red dot over maybe an extra attachment, but in Warzone, I don't think it gives you a particular advantage, especially if you've got a very accurate shot. Like, and I'm not saying like bigging myself up. I'm definitely not the most individually skilled player in the world, but
I don't believe a word of that, by the way. I don't believe a word of it.
I've got a very decent shot. So like I think it makes it easier with that. To be honest, with the iron sight, I don't think it's needed for the for the highly skilled players. To be honest.
That's fair enough. You actually the first player I think who's made a change up in terms of lethals as well. You're running a Semtex instead of a C4. Is
Yeah.
that just you're more used to running a Semtex, or what's the deal there?
No, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I probably would have got way more kills if I had run a C4, but I can't bring myself to do it. Yeah,
That's just
I'm just
preference.
I'm taking a firm stand against it. So that's sort of my stance on that. I'm just Semtex. I literally get one kill every now and then with my Semtex. I'd probably get multiple kills a game. Like, um, it's just one of those ones. It's I don't know. I just
Hey,
can't
I
do it.
like it. I like that answer. You know, I just don't want to. That's fair
Yeah.
enough. Your perks, by the way, you know, double time and tune up. Any reason for those specifically? Because the overkill one's obvious.
Yeah, the overkill one's obvious. I mean, double time. I think like a lot of people will be like, "Why are you not running like cold blooded or something like that?" Or even like EOD. I think for us anyway, like the way we sort of play, we're not typically playing like to just grind out a win. We're kind of playing as fast as possible. So even if it's something like double time that gives you a little bit faster movement speed, I think it's crucial just to keep up with everyone, especially if you're playing with people like Swanee who are just on the move constantly. You just finish one fight and you're on to the next. Like there's no room to stop and let you know. And I'm sure you've experienced that in your time, Briggs.
Oh, I have very much experienced that playing with them as well. All right, fair enough. I think that the rest of your class is pretty self-explanatory. A lot of people are running that MP5 as a secondary, as we kind of covered earlier as well. So let's kind of move on then. Talk about where you like to drop, Marky. Where is currently is your squad going in Verdansk?
Um, our squad in Verdansk, I mean, pretty much if it's like a sort of standard landing, we're gonna go to like the airport hangars or like the or superstore. That's the sort of main two places. All land together wherever we're going. Just trade out, and then if you get some of those abnormal drops, like where it's like looking like it's going to be an absolute mixer and boneyard or like even military base and stuff, you sometimes go for those. It just depends, really, like I said, on the drop itself.
Oh, that's fair enough. I think those are both, like you said, are very aggressive places to go in the game. And obviously, if you're going for the high kill games, as I suspect you are, that's exactly where you want to be dropping. I've got to cover hangers at some point because I feel like a lot of people don't understand why players go there, and it's one of the kind of like the hidden gems because it's not named. Let's move on then. Let's talk about your top tip. Maybe something along the lines of why you're so aggressive or how you like to play.
Yeah, I think my top tip personally is just I think on this game, especially even if you compare it to Blackout last season, I think that you need to work in a team a lot more. I think on Blackout you're able to make these individual plays and sort of get out of a lot of different situations. I think staying compact and like just communicating efficiently and like clearing things correctly, like
Yeah.
doing things the right way, like throughout the game, is not only going to lead you to get more kills. Like you just got to not be lazy, and the kills will come. Like just, I think that, like I said, just if you're wanting to especially get high kill games, I think that just making sure that you're working efficiently with your team, just staying near each other, and like I said, picking up those easy kills.
Is there anything specifically you do in terms of like strategies for going for high kill games? Do you go specific areas of the map? Do you go for certain bounties, or
Well,
what's the game plan?
typically, like I said, our landing spots we usually like to land around Superstore and the airport hangars, and I think both of those are sort of in a very good area of the map for rotations to different like very busy situation like areas. So I think that like even if you land hangars and there's not that many people there, you can still go to Superstore and catch the end of that fight or go somewhere else. And if you get a good start with a team, typically I think with the way we play it usually is you sort of group up together off this rip. You win the initial fights, you get the loadout drop, and then if you're feeling it at the time and you're feeling good in that game, you split off into twos, and then that's how you sort of start hunting for kills. And then even if we're feeling even more crazy, which we have done occasionally, is like split into ones. But
But
I
I
mean
only do that if
that's
you're very, very good.
yeah, you got to feel good about yourself for that game. I mean, I had it did work for a period. Then I mean, we kind of like okay, right, we're all about to die here and just absolutely destroy a high kill win. So let's just all group up again. But yeah, I think it's just about like I don't know. You're gonna make some bad calls that are gonna not work, and you've got to learn from them. I think that's the main thing. Like this game is just crazy with the amount of like elevation and stuff. There's so many different variables. I think that you just need to make sure you're sort of learning from every mistake you make.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for giving your time here, Mark. And I'm sure people will kind of take those tips on board and figure it out. But thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it, bud.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Marky. See you soon.
He said.
Well, there we go, catching up with Marky B and having a little look at how he likes to play Warzone. Hopefully you learned a little bit from that and seen how his classes work and how he likes to make them work in Verdansk. But we will now move on because there is a chance now to go into the map. And we go a place this week that's not really highlighted or named, but it is one of the most popular drops on the entire map. And if you want to find out more about it, well, this is the highlight of Hangars. Welcome to the MoreZone map highlight. For this episode, we go to a location on the map that is not named. However, you could call it an extension of airport, but it is its own unique location for many people. You need to have a little look at where you are going here, for the main reason is that you are going to find a lot of people dropping, and you need to get into fast to one of the hangars or one of the buildings. If you do land here, you can rotate out to places like Superstore, TV station, even Storage Town. There's a lot around here because of its central location, as well as the fighting that goes on. But here are some of the key reasons people like to go this exact location. One, it's not too crowded. There's not as much elevation as there could be in other places, so you're not going to have people sniping down a rooftop straight away. You can get to these buildings very easily from multiple directions. Number two, it is going to be the case that there is an awful lot of loot in this area if you can get to it and you get lucky. There are usually anywhere up to 3 crates in each one of these hangars that you can see, as well as crates in each of these buildings and in the planes on the tarmac. What this does mean is that you can come out of here fairly well kitted, and if you're very lucky you can get just about enough to get a loadout drop straight away, because there are also usually 1, 2 or 3 locations nearby where you can go and purchase from the loadout drop. Word of warning though, this is a contested location. You will be finding teams usually drop in here in numbers. And that is one of the reasons you like to see pros and streamers go to this location. Not only has it got everything you basically want, good sight lines, a lot of loot, but also what I like to call a light fight. A fight they can have at the very start of the game, get a lot of kills, and then get out of there. But not too many that it's all contested and you can't really get any control of an area. This is one of the key locations of the map. Hangars is somewhere I genuinely advise you go. It is my personal favourite drop on this game, and I go here 90% of games if possible, simply because it's usually always accessible being in the middle of the map, and because I like to try and get high kill games myself. But that's been the MoreZone map highlight. This has been Hangars. I hope you understand a little bit more now about this location and why it's so popular. Thank you for listening. Well, there you go. I hope you learned a little bit about that place and can figure out whether or not you now want to drop there. Me, personally, it's basically every single time I end up going into hangars. It's just very good. I advise you try it. But more than that, this has been another episode of MoreZone. Make sure to check out our socials, get those top 5s in, subscribe to the YouTube, and we'll see you next week, every week. Thanks for watching. One shot, not a future.